Alright, so I already recorded an entire video talking about this episode, only to find out that my microphone was muted. So, here we are again, talking about episode 3 of My Adventures with Superman, and what I thought. I do think that the show is getting better. I will say that. I do think that the show is getting better. I'm liking Clark Superman a little bit more. There was one scene in particular I thought was odd, especially for Lois. So there's a scene where she steals the ID of 3 other reporters at the Daily Planet. I just feel like that's something that she wouldn't do. Like, mainstream Lois. Like, she's not above, like, doing cheeky things, right? But I think that she's being a little too selfish here. Like, yeah, Lois is a go-getter. Lois is a, she's a reporter that's willing to take risks, that, but she's not somebody who tramples over her other colleagues, right? It's not a race, But Lois is somebody who, say for example, if her colleagues aren't willing to do what's needed of the job to get the job done, to get the real story, she'll do it, But she's not gonna steal their ID cards to try to beat them to the punch. Like, she's not really competitive like that. Like, she can be competitive, like if somebody challenges her, but it's not like a dishonest thing, which is what she did in this. And then after she stole their IDs so that they could get an interview with the warden of this prison, she ends up stealing the warden's key card so that she could get into a private area that she's not allowed in. Like, that, I don't know. I don't think Lois would have done that. Regular comic book Lois. I don't think she would have, because the warden wasn't a villain, wasn't a bad guy, right? If it was a villain or a bad guy, like, yeah, I could probably have seen her stealing, not the warden of a prison. If they told her, hey, look, I'm sorry, you can't go back there. You can't investigate. You can't. She'd have probably just found another way. I don't think she would have stolen their key card. But that's just me. It's a nitpick, right? What else did I not like about this? The villains. So the villains in the show, in this episode, it's kind of like another villain of the week. And they're kind of comparing it to like what happened in the last episode. How there was somebody with like the weapons. They got these weapons they weren't really supposed to have, and now they have them. It's the same thing here. One girl's got like a helmet that amplifies sound, so she can screech really loud. Another dude's got like these armband things that makes him really super strong, but it also allows him to like shoot ice. And this other dude like has the power to become invisible or whatever. They're really annoying. Like, I get that the joke is supposed to be that they're not great villains. Like, I get that that's the joke. But, like, so it's like a family dynamic thing. Like, the sister is the one who's got the voice amplification thing, and the brother's the one who can turn invisible, and I think the other dude is just a friend. But the other dude is, like, the dumb one, I guess because he's a big guy. So a big guy means a dumb one, I guess. And he keeps, like when they're trying to be incognito and trying to be, like, their alter personas, the big guy keeps calling everybody by their real name. And they're like, hey, stop saying that when we're... I guess that's supposed to be funny. I guess. I don't know. I didn't find it very funny. I thought it was just kind of annoying. Like... It's just, I don't know, that's a lot of the jokes in this show, is a lot of the jokes are just like, you hear it and you're like, at most, the jokes you hear in this show are like, that's it. That's all you get out of the jokes in the show. Like, they're nothing They're nothing crazy. They're nothing. I don't know. There was one joke in this show where I actually did laugh. I'll admit it. There was one joke in this show where I did laugh, and it was Lois comes up to Clark, and she asks him to role play with her, and she asks him, "Look, I'll be Lois Lane, and you be Superman, and I'm going to ask you for an interview, and I want you to respond to me." So when Clark is responding to her, he's trying to do a Superman voice to like pretend to be Superman to respond to her, but he is Superman, so he's trying to not make it the Superman voice. So he's like saying his response in like 10 different tones and voices as he's saying the line. That actually did make me laugh a little bit. I thought that was funny. But overall, I think Jack Quaid's performance as Superman is not great. Like, I think he plays an okay Clark, right? He gives off this, like, kind of, I guess, clumsy guy. But here's the thing, is, like, Clark is a clumsy guy, but he's not, like, I think they're trying to portray him as, like, a Peter Parker, you know? Where, like, yeah, Clark is a clumsy guy, but he's not, like, a dweeb. He's not, like, a dork. He's not like a... And they're kind of going in that direction, and it's like... it's not Clark, though. That's Peter Parker. That's not Clark, you know? And I don't know. Another thing is Jimmy Olsen in this show. Like, he's pointless. It's like... He does nothing. He adds like almost nothing to the story in almost every single one of these episodes. He did one thing that was kind of useful in this episode, is he ended up sneaking a picture of some map or whatever. But that's it. Like, you could pretty much just take Jimmy out of the show and like nothing would be affected. Like his one and only job in the show is like Lois and Clark are talking, and his job is to say funny, witty one-liner, and then that's it. That's all he says. Like, it's not... I don't know. I thought with a show titled My Adventures with Superman, where it's supposed to be mostly about Lois and Jimmy and their adventures with Superman, thought it would be more about Lois and Jimmy and their characters and what they're going through, but it's still about Superman, and kind of like Superman is the main, like it's from his point of view. That's just weird to me. What's another thing I didn't like in this episode? I just Superman, like the way he carries himself, like the way Jack Quaid makes him sound, he just doesn't have that. I don't know. He doesn't have like that confidence to him when he becomes Superman. What else? The animation in this episode really bugged me. I mean, it's been bugging me like within all the episodes, but I finally figured out what it is. So it's almost like the animators are like skipping frames, and it's weird. So like how a lot of animation works, for example, right, is you have, like, say for example, this is your scene. This is the end of the scene, this is the beginning of the scene. So you have Superman that's starting here, trying to get to here, right? So most shows will show him moving. Here's 1 frame, 2 frame, 3 frame, 4 frame, 5 frame, 6 frame, right? He's slowly moving across the screen to get to where he's going, right? Well, this show starts here. Now he's here. Now he's here. And then he's here. Like, it's like, if you actually go into this show and you move it frame by frame, he's literally jumping like frames. It looks so awkward. I don't like how it looks. I don't like how it moves. It just feels weird. It doesn't look good either, in my opinion. There's a lot of people who are praising the animation, but in my opinion, I don't like it. I don't think it looks good. I think it's just It's like just stop doing that. I feel like I don't get what is that supposed to accomplish jumping around like that. It just makes it look weird and feel weird. I don't know. We do see Clark, I guess, finally getting heat vision. You know, we see him throughout the episode, like his eyes are glowing red for a second, and then he's back to normal. He's like, oh, what was that? That was weird. And then another scene happens, and his eyes glow red, and then he's like, oh, that was weird. I don't know what that was. And then we see at the end, of course, right when he needs heat vision because there's ice everywhere, now he unlocks heat vision. Wow, how convenient. How very, very convenient is that, huh? The writing in this show. Dude, the writing in this show is just, it's not good. It's not good. Like, it's like, of course he unlocks heat vision right at the very moment that he needs it to be unlocked. Not to mention, again, he's had his powers since he was a preteen. He started having powers since he was a preteen. It took 10 years of him already having powers to unlock heat vision. 10 years. Think about that. 10 years for him to unlock heat vision? That's wild. That doesn't make sense on how his powers really work. It doesn't make sense. Like, and that's another thing, is she's interviewing him at the end of the episode, and she's like, where are you from? How do your powers work? And he basically, his answer is like, oh, I don't know, I'm still learning. Dude, what do you mean you're still learning, bro? You first started getting your powers 10 years ago. What do you mean you're still learning? Like, come on, chop, bro. It's time to move on. It's time to get better at your power. What do you mean you're still learning? The show, in and of itself, showed a flashback of Clark when he's a kid learning to fly. Then we fast forward 10 years, and you're still figuring your stuff out, dude. We don't have all day. This is gonna be a really long show. We're going to get to season 4, and he's finally going to learn Ice Breath. Like, come on, speed this along. Let's go. I don't understand. He had his powers for 10 years, and he only just now started heat vision. He's still figuring himself out. Like, I don't get it. And that's another thing. Is, like I said in the last one, his crush on Lois is, like, ridiculous in this show. It's ridiculous. It is borderline. Actually, it's more so. It's like a high school crush. It's like a, oh my god, every time she's around, butterflies, and I'm stumbling over my words, I don't know what to say, or I've never seen an incarnation, an interpretation of the Superman-Lois relationship that's quite like this. Because Superman, Clark Kent, has always had feelings for Lois Lane. In every single incarnation of the story, that's always how it goes. But, like, I can't remember another incarnation where he had this, like, bubbly, giggly, blushing, like, high school romantic feelings for Lois. Like, I hate to use this word. Trust me, you will never ever hear me use this word ever. But it's almost like he's giving off these very simp vibes for her. And it's like again, he had met Jor-El when he was a kid. He had every opportunity to go back to the spaceship that sent him here to Earth and figure out who he is, how he got his powers, anything he wants to know. But he didn't do it. For 10 years, he had every opportunity to figure out who he was, where he's from, how his powers work, and he didn't do it. What made him do it? Meeting Lois Lane and figuring out that Lois Lane wants to have an interview with Superman and find out who he is and how he got his powers. Guess what happens right after that? Clark Kent goes home and talks to Martha Kent, asking her, telling her about Lois, about how great Lois is, how beautiful Lois is, all this and that. And now he wants to say, oh, I want to find out more about myself. I want to find out where I'm from. I want to find out. You had all this time, and you didn't start even thinking of or wanting to do it until Lois. It's so. I hate it. Like, again, Clark Kent in every incarnation of Superman has always had feelings for Lois Lane. That's always how it's been. But not like this. This is like, dude, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Dude, I don't like it. I just don't like it. I keep saying I hope it gets better, but it's just like, dude, dude, and Lois is just, I don't know. She's not a reporter yet. She's still an intern, but I don't get this like obsession with like I need to be on the case. I need to crack the case. I need to. She's acting more like she's Velma from Scooby-Doo than Lois Lane, right? Like she's wanting to crack the case. She needs to be the first. She's in a race to figure out who's the bad guy and what's going on and who is Superman, and it's dude, the writing on this show is just, it's not great. It's not great. There was one more thing I believe I wanted to talk about this episode. I talked about the animation. I talked about Lois's relationship with Clark. I might have talked about everything. I want to say I talked about everything. Oh, this is 17 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and end this here. What do you guys think? Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode. I will continue watching. But I'm not liking it so far. I'm really not. I'm not liking it, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you later.